family, we're back again. Sports Talk with Fat Larry. I got a wonderful guest for you guys today. I happened to just be at a basketball game and saw this man walk in, and I thought, wow, the gods have sent me an idea to get one of the Texas coaching legends, not only in Houston, but in the state of Texas. So what we're going to do before we get started is what I always ask you guys to do: hit that like button, that subscribe button, and smash that bell so that every time a new show comes out, you guys will get notified. You got me? Don't forget also, we have the t-shirts that are on sale. You see a white short t-shirt and you have a black hoodie, but we can do any color for you that you want. I had one of my friends order a gold hoodie with black letters because he is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. My also guest is here today, and their school colors is black and gold, so who knows, he might get him a hoodie before he get out of here. Okay, so what we're going to do is, to be able to get these items, you have to contact me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. You all guys just do not know how many emails I have, and I be sometimes giving out the wrong one. But to be able to get your t-shirts and order them, go to fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. We got all sizes, all colors, and it helps the show to keep going forward. So with that being said, one more time, I want to bring to our show, this is February the 22nd. The last show was about 3 weeks ago. Was that right, Shaylin? About 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, our last show. And later on, when I update the SWAC standings and the other standings of the black college basketball, I'll give you an update. But today, February 22nd, on a Thursday, we have Coach Ronnie Courtney of the Fort Bend Thurgood Marshall High School Buffaloes. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Now, what we want to start with on Coach is just to ask him, Coach, give us a humble background of your beginnings and where you came from in the event of, what I mean came from is where you started at in Houston. Are you a local native of Houston or what?
I've been in Houston all my life. Grew up in 3rd Ward. Went to Albert Thomas Middle School, Blackshear Elementary. Thought I was going to go to Yates to follow the rest of my people that went to Yates, but we moved to South Park, and I ended up going to Houston Sterling, where I ended up playing quarterback for the football team, and I also started as a basketball player from the basketball team. From there, I ended up getting a scholarship to McMurray University, where I played dual sports, football and basketball, but I gave up the football part because I didn't like being in all that heat. I took on the basketball role, and I started as a point guard from my freshman year all the way through my senior year. Made all conference 3 out of the 4 years I was there. Left McMurray University and got my first head coach job, my first high school job at Fur High School, where I was assistant coach in football, basketball, and track. I stayed at Fur High School for 8 years until I got my first head coaching job at Jeff Davis High School.
Now, what year was that, you said, when you started at Fur?
That would have been 1981. I started my first high school career, coaching career in 1981 at Fur High School.
Okay. Go ahead.
And while I was at Jeff Davis, people told me that I would never get a chance to leave there because that's supposed to be the worst school in HSD. Knowing me and being a blessed person that I am, I just took that with a grain of salt and said, you know what, I'm not going to be here forever. I know God has something better for me, if that's what y'all are saying about Jeff Davis. And true enough, I got a group of guys that come in that were really, really good, led by Carl Crawford. I don't know if everybody's familiar with Carl Crawford.
Yes, sir.
But Carl Crawford and his crew, his guys came in, and we ended up having a very successful 3 years with him because I left his senior year. But we had a successful 3 years with Carl Crawford where we ended up going to the regional quarterfinals and losing to Hastings. And from there, I went to Willow Ridge High School, and that's where my successes started, per se, is where people know me from, is Willow Ridge High School. Won back-to-back state titles, 2000-2001 year. Ended up coaching 2 great young men that became McDonald's All-Americans, TJ Ford and Daniel Ewing. Matter of fact, I may have been the first coach in public education to have 2 McDonald's All-Americans on one high school team.
Fans, he's being very modest. They had one hell of a team at Willow Ridge, the Willow Ridge Eagles, boy. I'm talking. That's why I tell everybody about Mo City, coach, that, man, if they hadn't built 25 schools to take all the kids from Willow Ridge. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but yeah, you was being a little modest there.
You know, I'm the way my parents raised me is to always be humble, and I've been that way for all of my career, because at the end of the day, when you're successful, there's always something behind that success that people don't see. And for every great coach that you can think of, they had great players.
Right.
And I have had great players pretty much my whole career. Talking about those guys at Willow Ridge, I had 2 McDonald's All-Americans and 2 more All-Americans on that team as well. Had 15 guys on that team, and 15 guys went to college. Yes. Went to some very prestigious universities, as a matter of fact. And as we grow from that point, or as I grow from that point in my career, I stayed at Willow Ridge for 4 years, ended up winning the 2 state titles, and I also became National High School Coach of the Year while I was at Willow Ridge. Wow. I took that step and went to Texas Southern University as the head basketball coach there for 6 years. Was able to win the SWAC title and go to the NCAA tournament while I was there. I had a very fun time at Texas Southern University. Learned a lot of things about Texas Southern University and about the Deep South. Growing up, I'd never been to the Deep South. When I got the job at TSU, I really got a chance to understand my life and understand how the Deep South works, because there was an experience for me that I had never experienced before. And if I didn't get anything else out of TSU, I got an opportunity to understand what the Deep South was all about.
And excuse me for interrupting once again, because the listening audience may not be in tune to what you're referring to. He's talking about going to Jackson, Mississippi, Itta Bena, Mississippi. He talking about turning off that dark road on 55, going to Alcorn, where it wind and turn, and you start seeing about a mile off in there, where in the hell we going?
Alcorn just jumps out at you looking and you just riding, oh, there it goes right there. But that experience, got a chance to take my kids to the Martin Luther King Museum. You just got a chance to do a whole lot of things that I never thought I would experience or wouldn't have experienced had I not gone to Texas Southern University. My career continued from Texas Southern University. I went back to high school. I took a job at Bush High School in Fort Bend. Ended up winning another state title in 2010 in Fort Bend. And on that team, I had another McDonald's All-American, Cameron Ridley. We ended up having a record of 36-4 at that time. I think the best thing I got out of that, or the most important thing I got out of that career part of my life, was I was able to coach my son.
Okay.
My son was the starting point guard on that state championship team. And to be able to coach your son is, if you are a coach and you have opportunity to coach your son, it's one of the best experiences you can have as a coach, to have someone that you raised from a baby to now he's able to be a part of what you're doing in your life. Because I say that because I coach everybody else's kids, and I never had gotten a chance to coach my own.
Okay.
And I got a chance to coach my own, and man, it was a great ride, a great experience. And he may not say it because because I was so hard on him, because I knew what I needed to get from him in order for us to win. And the fact that me being hard on him, he understood it, he took it, and he ran with it, and we had an opportunity to have a successful season.
May I ask you, where is he at now and what he's doing?
He's coaching in Pasadena now.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Don't fall too far from the tree.
Exactly. He's coaching in Pasadena. He's also coaching one of TJ Ford's AAU teams. So he's actually in the coaching part, and we talk just about it. Well, I'm not just about, we talk about every week. We talk about something. Why
wouldn't he call his dad that's got the knowledge that he got?
Well, we talk about, I have players on my team that play for TJ, and he, called me, asked me how they're doing, because he's like me. He's a disciplinarian that makes sure the kids that he deal with do things the right way, and that's what he always called and check on me about. Hey, they doing okay? And my son knows me. He knows I'm big on discipline, because for me, if there's no discipline in your team or your program or your life, you end up with total chaos. And for me, all my success has come from me being a disciplinarian. And I think I take myself after John Chaney used to coach at Temple. A lot of people may not remember John Chaney, but John Chaney was a very disciplinarian coach that made sure his guys did everything they needed to do. And for him, practice was at 6 a.m. And
Not 6:20.
No, 6 a.m.
6
You couldn't walk in at 6 a.m. You had to come in before 6 a.m.
Before 6 a.m.
And I try to tell my kids all the time, to be on time is late. To be early is on time.
Right.
And I want them to understand that not just for basketball, it's for your life.
Life.
And because for me, I don't necessarily talk about basketball every day. I talk about life after basketball because at some point in time, the ball's going to stop dribbling. And when it stops, what's your next move?
Yes.
And so when I'm doing that, I always want to make sure I get my kids in college, some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion.
I greatly appreciate that because I basically worked for my own scholarship from high school I went to, sending out information, letting the guy know. I had scholarships in football too. Like I was a quarterback and a baseball player. I came to TSU to play baseball.
Okay.
And so what I like is that off camera, you and I were talking, Coach and I were talking about we're missing the old school coaching philosophy out of high school kids right now. And he kind of touched on it with discipline. What do you think about that? You and I were starting, I made him stop because I want him to put that information right in on camera.
From my viewpoint, and this is just my opinion, I think the reason why kids are struggling now as opposed to where we were coached is because kids don't want you to coach them hard. They want you to let them have their way, do their own things, what the way they call doing my thing, without anything being said. And I think that is a thing that starts at home because parents now try to be friends with their children, and you can't be your child's friend and his parent at the same time. Yes. So when you get to us as coaches and we're trying to instill some of the things that we know will help them in life, they have a tendency to fight that. And I tell people all the time, they want, well, Coach, I want my son to play for you. I said, you better make sure that's what you want.
Right.
Because what y'all look at is the finished product.
Right.
You don't know what goes on behind the scene to get to that finished product. And I always tell them, you talk to some of the kids I've already coached before now, which are grown men. Talk to some of those people and ask how hard I am when it comes down to coaching. Not that I'm trying to show you that I'm the head coach, but I'm trying to show you what life looks like when you get away from this sport of basketball. Because when you get a job these days, people don't beg you to do anything. They tell you to do it. You say, I'm gonna do it when I get a chance. I'm gonna do it in a minute. It's do it right then and there. You ask the kid to do something else, Coach, I'm gonna get it in a second. No, I want you to get it right now.
Right.
And so those are the things I'm trying to instill in my kids, that how important it is to understand when people ask you to do something, it's done at that point in time, not later on or when you feel like it. Or when I'm asking you to do something and you may think it's difficult, we're gonna do it anyway.
Right.
And parents today, they ask the kids to do so, okay, Mama, I'll get it done later. And they go with that. And so it's hard on us because we're trying to instill what it really looks like in real life. And at the same time, help you understand that we're just trying to help you because the way we were coached, it's hard. It was hard. It was hard. And we didn't understand at the time why it was that hard. But as you got older, you can go back and, Coach, I understand what you're trying to get me to do now.
Life is hard, Coach.
Exactly.
Life is hard.
I think the thing that excites me the most is not the number of wins and losses or wins I've had, how many championships I won. That doesn't excite me as much as when a young man comes back to me and says, Coach, remember you was really hard on me and I wasn't understanding what you mean. He said, I got my own family, now I understand. That's the biggest reward for me in my career right now. Because I won tons of games, I won championships. I've done everything as a coach can do. As far as accolades, it's not about accolades anymore. It's about helping young men become men and raising their family the way it's supposed to be raised, the way we were raised and we were kids.
Now, Coach, this is the first time Coach and I have ever had a conversation. I can see why you're successful. And that is that you got single parent homes like I was growing up in. You know who became our forward heads when I was growing up?
Coaches.
Coaches.
Exactly.
Coaches. I had one coach in junior high. I hated it. A guy fumbled the ball. I handed him the ball, and he fumbled. He came. He said, "Rose, get up in the quarterback. So, I'm gonna show you how you supposed to put the ball in there." And he had me run through there. I was about ready to cry. I hated him for that, but I understood what he was doing. He and I just like that. He knew I was at Texas Southern. He saw me. He said, come to Privy, because he got a job at Privy. Come to Privy, I'm gonna let you play football and baseball. I said, no, coach. I lost football. I said, football gone, coach. Julius Adams by 6'5", 290. I said, no, football gone, coach.
It's so much different because our coaches were hard, but they were fair. And I think that's the thing that I try to preach to my kids all the time. I'm hard, but I'm fair.
Right.
And as long as you can be fair with the kid and you show the kid that you love him, then you can coach him hard. And one thing I do with my program is every Wednesday, and I don't know why I pick Wednesday, but every Wednesday I tell my group of kids I love them.
Right.
And the reason why I do that, because you don't know if they ever hear that at home.
There you go.
And when you don't hear it at home and you hear somebody tell you that, you get an opportunity to get a kid to do any and everything for you when and whenever you want it done.
Right. Oh, you got. That's why I brought up the fact. Back in the day, and there's still single head of houses women nowadays.
No doubt.
And that's why I hate that they don't allow coaches to do what they used to do, because I'm telling you, my coaches were my boss. Because they put discipline in you.
Exactly.
They put the fear of God in you.
Exactly.
Put the fear of God in you.
Exactly.
So you're going to pick up that discipline. What you said is everything is fine. Now look here, I want to ask you this, Coach. You got 3 state championships, correct?
4.
4.
3 in public and 1 in private.
What private school did you coach at? See, I wasn't aware of that.
Provision.
No, I didn't. I wasn't aware of that. Coach,
I went,
when did you get
I
that?
went to Provision Academy after I left Bush.
Oh, after you left Bush, that's where you went. I didn't know where you went after you. Because I went out to Bush, and they said Fort Worth Bush, and I went to a playoff game because I'm a junkie. I go to all the high schools. I'll be in Austin on the 9th to see you.
I will too. With my team, hopefully.
Yeah. No, I'm going to see you only with your team. And so it's just amazing when I got in there. I said, ask Coach Courtney, where he come from? He's over there at Fort Bend, and they winning. I say, that guy's a coach. You know where I rank you with? And I'm going fast, family, because I'm excited he's here. I love high school sports. I don't know about you guys, but I love it because the kids, if they can find the right coach, will give their all. And I'm going to put you up there with Butte. You may not know Andre Butte, Lincoln, Port Arthur Lincoln, Beaumont, Ozan. Same amount of state championships the coach got. It's just a matter of time, Coach, for you get that Hall of Fame jacket. You got to get it. You got the same credentials. I'm going to put you up there with Coach Jackie Carr. Now, that's a legend. And when I say legend, I can remember, Coach, about 20 years ago or 15 years ago when Wheatley was like 0-12 and 20 for a couple of years, and Coach Jackie Carr came out of retirement. They said, oh, he ain't got no more players over there. They went straight and won district championship. You got to have a coach.
Yes.
You got to have a coach. Talk to me about the philosophies of winning coaches and coaches that you may have picked some things up from.
I think the philosophy of winning coach is to get a kid to believe in what you believe in. And I'll say that I think the culture of your program is going to allow you to win. And what I mean by the culture of your program, you don't let your kids believe that they're losers. You don't let your kids believe they can't do something. It's always an opportunity for you to uplift the kid where you may be failing to become better. And to become a great coach, that's one of the things you have to have. Because you're not going to get a team of stars. Right. You're going to get a team with a couple of really good players on it, and you got to have some guys that can go along with those really good ones. And as a coach, that's when you got to take, and I use it with my kids all the time, God blesses everybody with certain talent. Right. Everybody. So when you have a team of, say you got a team of 12, all 12 of those guys are not the same. God gave all 12 of those guys something different. And as a head coach, you got to figure out all those different talents and put them together to make a team. And that's probably one of the hardest part as a coach, to figure out how you put all these talents together, mix them all together and make one. And at that point, you're talking about kids believing in what you believe in as opposed to believing in what somebody else is telling them on the street. Because what they tell them on the street is they're the greatest player ever lived, and you're better than this guy, you the next this guy, and it's not true. You want kids to be the next whoever they are, whoever their parents named them, you be the next John or the next Kevin. Don't try to be the next somebody else, because at that point in time, you're not going to do that. And so for a coach to be able to get a kid to understand, I need you to be the best version of you, then you got a chance to win.
Okay. Do you have any coach that you you looked up to and you thought that their philosophy is the direction you might want it to go?
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I hope people understand what I'm saying. My college coach is a guy that made me be where I am today. It's going to be a short story. I'm making it short. I got in what they thought I got in trouble in college, and it was some nonsense. And I went to my college coach, and because they really put me out the dorm because they said I shouldn't be there because of what they claim I did.
What you claim you did?
And my college coach came and he got me, and we had a conversation. And he says, Ronnie, did you ever say that? I said, no, sir, I didn't say any of that. And so my college coach went around, and I was at a predominantly white university.
Oh, yeah.
He polled a bunch of black kids, and he polled a bunch of white kids to find out how we talk as black people. And when he got the true story from all the people that he polled, we went to the president with that information, and the president looked at him and said, wow, I never thought to do that. And when he did that for me, which kept me at the university where I needed to be, and he says, Ronnie, if you ever decide to be a coach, you have to fight for your kids. Right? Fight for them. He said, you never let your kids go down without a fight. He said, and you are the leader of the fight. And when he sat down and talked to me about how to be the leader of a fight, and if I ever became a coach, what that means, I said, you know what, I want to do just what he's doing.
Yes.
I want to give back to kids that may not have had what I had. I can give them what I had or didn't have. I want to be able to give that to them. And that's the reason why I'm in the coaching to this day. And Coach Kimbrell is about 100, if I'm not mistaken.
Still living?
He called me about 2 months ago. And I looked at my phone. I had some number I looked at my phone. I said, Coach Kimbrell. And he said, hey, man, I need you to come up here and see me because I hadn't seen you since you graduated.
You joking? From college?
Yes. He hadn't seen me. And he said, I want you to come see me because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. And I'm like, man, the tear just came to my eyes because he said I was the best point. He said I was the best point guard I ever had. And I was the best. If he ever had any children, he would want his son to be just like me.
Wow.
And at that point, I'm like, man, I'm done. Yeah. And so when I'm coaching now, I always think about him fighting for me. And I fight for a lot of my kids.
Gotcha.
Are they right all the time? No, they're not. But if you're telling me the truth, and it's the truth that you're telling me, then I can go fight for you.
Back for you.
But if you're not, then we got a problem. And most of the time, where I'm at Marshall High School, my kids are well respected. All the principals tell me how disciplined my kids are, how they're never in the hallway, how they're never getting in trouble, how they're always in class. Teachers call me, come down to the gym telling me how smart my kids are, how attentive in class they are, because that's what I teach.
That's what you teach. That's what you
and so
coach.
If that's what you teach, then that's what you expect from your kids.
Right.
And so when I get a group of guys, we go with things that don't pertain to basketball. Because for me, when you get in my program, there's no such thing as doing what everybody else is doing.
Right.
Because my theory of an athlete is you're special.
Right.
So if you're special, you're not with this group of guys, you're with a special group of guys that I have in a collective group. And I think one of the things that I'm going to go back to my Willow Ridge days, one of the things that my guys did on that team is when they went to lunch, they all sat at one table. They never sat at the table with everybody else. And that right there let me know that this was a collective group of guys that were all on the same page. Yeah. Even though Daniel and TJ were head and shoulders above a lot of my players, they never put themselves out there like that. Right. They always tried to help the other kids come up to where they were. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why we were so successful.
Because they know they needed them. They can't do it by themselves.
Exactly. And that's why we were so successful. And that's why I had an opportunity to be successful as I am now. Because I always make sure that my kids don't say, well, I'm the star of the team or I'm this. No, I don't do stars. Right. I do a collective group of young men that want to win. Right. And if you do a collective group of young men that want to win, your stars will shine anyway. Yeah. Without them having to boast and brag about it, it's going to come to light. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I've been able to do with my program and my teams is to make sure kids treat each other accordingly.
Yeah. You fall in that classification I think that most of the coaches when I first got to Houston had to run and shoot. And you'll do it occasionally, but that's not you.
No.
And Butte, occasionally, that's not him. And I'm saying that, family, because I like Jackie Carr's, them philosophy, Brazos, Cashmere, but you showed how we can still win. You know, we don't have to run up and down the floor and score 100.
Exactly.
Yeah, if we play smart, we can beat them at their own game.
And that comes from when I went to college, and my coach in the college said, we get ready to learn these plays. And I raised my hand. And I said, Coach, run some plays. Because when I played at Sterling, that was, you just ran and played. And so he says, yeah, we're going to learn some plays. I said, but you do that in football. And everybody laughed at me because we didn't do that in high school.
Right.
And so when I became a head coach, I knew for a fact, in order for my kids to be successful, I had to teach them how to run some plays and run some sets and come off of screens and how to read a flash screen and all of those things. Yeah. And so when people come out and watch me play, they like, man, they don't do a lot of running and playing. Well,
first thing I see.
I run and play when I need to or if I have to, but for the most part, my team is predicated on defense. We play tremendous defense, and when you play us, you have to struggle to score.
Right.
And I looked at my book last night, and we've given up 50 points 5 times this year.
Wow. High school, that's unheard of in high school.
Nothing over 50. Mm-hmm. We gave up 51 and 54. That's the most. Mm-hmm. And I'm scoring 60, 70 points. I'm winning by 30. Mm-hmm. But my kids are learning how to run a play, because when you're running and somebody stops you from running, now what do? You
got to be able to do that.
And so my thing is, okay, I can run, but if you stop me from running, now what am I going to do? We can't go one-on-one. We're not good enough to do that. I don't know.
Don't have no plays.
I don't know where my shots. I don't know where my shots coming from. But I let you just go all over the place. Uh-huh. And so we run a number of quick hitters that I've gotten from my days at Texas Southern, playing against other college coaches, talking to other college coaches about things that they do as far as how to run stuff and be successful. So I run a lot of quick hitters. I run a lot of isolation. I run a lot of things that I've learned in college that I brought it back to high school. And so when people come out and watch us play, and I can hear the oohs and the ahs, wow, man, they ran that play. That was a nice play. Yeah. As opposed to they just running and playing and running and playing. And you don't know where the shot's coming from, who's doing what. And so I can't coach that way. Even when I had TJ and them, as good as we were, we still had the opportunity where we had to run plays. We went to Austin to play in the state tournament. We didn't run like that because we couldn't. And so we had to run those plays that I already put in for them, and we were able to be successful. So is that a right way or wrong way for you to play? No, it's not. You have to play according to the talent that you have. Yeah. And so if you have a lot of athletes that can run and play like that and do those kind of things, like, you know, Jackie Carr puts a bunch of grown men out there, and they 6'10" and 6'11" and 6'9" and this and that. And so, yeah, you can just run all you want because nobody can play with you. Right. We don't have that anymore. Right. At least I don't.
No, we don't have it anymore.
I don't have grown men like that I saw.
Private schools
and so now it's like when I watch film, I'm trying to get plays that people are running because people are running plays now. Right. And so I'm looking at that. I'm trying to figure out what they're running, what they're calling, so I can get my kids defensively prepared for when we play. And so people do the same thing for me, but I have so much that if you spend your time trying to get ready for me, how you getting yourself ready for me? Right, because how you gonna do your stuff and you trying to worry about what I do? Right. Because I got a lot. Right. And we probably run about 15 quick hitters, and it kind of all look the same.
Explain to the listener what a quick hitter is.
A quick hitter is a simple play where you have a set play for a particular person. For me, I have plays where I do a lot of stagger screens. And I have kids come off a stagger screen where they can either curl it, flare it, and after we do the flash screen, we get a ball screen. And those are what I call quick hitters because now you don't know where I'm coming from because I have action going on this side and I have another action going on this side, which I call a false action, but my real action is over here. Okay, so those are the things I teach my kids because in college, that's what you see. You see some false action over here. person that's prime example of it is Calvin Sampson at U of H. He has a lot.
I'm waiting on you to finish. I was going to say, you right there. You right there, Kevin Sampson.
He has a lot of false action going on one side, but the real action's over here.
Right.
And those are the kind of things that I do with my high school guys. You know, we have false action and we have real action. So when my quick hitters take place, the real action over here is predicated on if you stop me here, my false action takes place over here because I got I got a screen, a pin down here, or I got a curl cut coming over here because this is my false action, but the false action is really going to be a play for us. And so for us, that's what we do as far as being able to see what you want to see from a kid as opposed to sitting there, what are you getting ready to do? I don't even know what he's getting ready to do. Where the shot coming from? I don't have to worry about that. I know where all my shots coming from. I know who's shooting them because my plays are designed for certain kids. And so...
And quite naturally, if the ball comes off the rim and it comes in the right person's hand, you will run.
Because exactly.
Yeah,
we'll run.
Yeah.
We've never scored 100 this year. I don't try to do that.
No.
I'm trying to say, we scored 100 a couple of times last year, but that's not my philosophy of going to a ball game.
Coach, out the team you had last year, I don't think that if you wanted to score 100, you guys could have scored 100. You had a squad last year. Matter of fact, remind me who beat you guys.
We lost to Clean Ellison in the regional finals.
Yeah.
My best player had the worst shooting night ever.
Okay. The kid went to University of Pittsburgh?
Exactly.
Let listening artists know that he had a kid went to University of Pittsburgh. How tall was he?
Jalen Lewis, 6'2".
6'2".
6'3".
6'3"?
Mm-hmm.
Guard?
Yes, sir.
What did you think? What did he average last year, you think?
28.5.
25 points a game.
And he was, how can I put this? His ability to score, one of the things that excited me, his basketball IQ is what excited me.
Right.
That's like Jamal Shedd over U of H can run practice with the coach not there. He could do the same thing for me. I didn't have to walk in the gym. I knew for a fact everything would be in place because of him.
Right.
And matter of fact, he would come off and get the erase marker and say, "Coach, can you sit down for a second?" Okay. And he get my marker, he draw some stuff up, and he's like, "What do you think?" I said, "I love it." And he erased that when he put it out there. "What do you think?" "I love that too." He said, "Well, can we put it in?" I said, "Yes, we can." I said, "But you know what? You're going to put it in because you brought it to me."
Right.
I say, "So you go out there and you put it in for my players because they respect you that much." And I would sit back and I watch him put it in. And it was just like I was putting it in. And he would put people in the right place and come off the right things. And there were things, it wasn't for him, it was for other players. This kid was special,
right?
Very special, to where he knew he needed help. So he said, "Coach, we need to get some stuff where other people are involved so everybody don't just hone in on me." I said, "Well, that's fine, let's do that." And he and I had more conversation about what we should be doing or could be doing for the team. Probably, he and TJ were probably exactly the same.
Yeah. TJ was light years ahead of himself.
Oh, yes, indeed.
He was like, he was the orchestrator.
And so
he was the orchestrator of that team.
Jalen's at Pittsburgh now. Matter of fact, they played Duke about a month ago, and he ended up winning, hitting the game a big three to beat Duke and hit free throws down the stretch. So he's averaging right at, I think, 12 points a game as a freshman.
Right.
And all the commentators talk about him is how Pittsburgh needs him on the floor in order for him to be successful. So the kid is very gifted, very humble kid. Never brags about who he is or what he can and can't do. He just likes to win, and he wants to be able to be successful, not just basketball. He told me, "Coach, I want to be a successful person in life." Yeah. And so he has his head on straight thanks to Mom and Dad, because they raised him the right way. Dad's really hard on him, and he came to me, and it wasn't any easier for him. So he's been under that pressure where people expect a lot from him, and he gives you what you expect from him. And so, matter of fact, I talked to, the coach from
Pittsburgh?
Barbers Hill yesterday.
Okay.
He said, "Coach, I'm so glad Jalen Lewis is gone." I say, "Coach, I'm not." I said, "I need him right now." I say, "But we'll be fine." But everybody in the city of Houston respected that kid as a great basketball player.
I didn't know his name, but like I said, I'm a junkie and I go to games and I see. Give me how many players came back for this team?
I had
starters.
Starters. I had 3 starters back.
Wow, that's a good nucleus.
I had 3 starters back, and I had 9 guys back.
How'd your JV do last year? You had some good guys come off the JV that step up pretty good?
Let me see, did I get anybody off my JV team? I did not.
No, because you would have thought of it just like that. So that means the guys that was under Lewis was watching, and they got themselves ready for this year.
Well, I got his little brother now.
Oh. He's jealous that, Shayla. He's got a little brother.
His little brother was on the team last year. He came from Kincaid to me. Matter of fact, they both came from Kincaid. So now he's my starting point guard. And so my team is really based on kids that were there last year. I had a couple of move-ins. I had a kid came from Baytown. I had another
Great
kid.
athletes out of Baytown.
I had another kid came from straight Jesuit. So my team is built based on the kids that were there and a couple of move-ins that I have. And when the season started, I'm like, man, we're gonna be struggling this year to try to win, because I got to be able to put people in place that can score, because that dude is not here anymore. And the preseason poll comes out, and we're ranked number 2 in the state. And so I actually called. I said, hey, man, can somebody tell me what team y'all are looking at? Because I never thought we would be in that position before the season started, understanding what I had coming back and understanding what was all in the state of Texas that I knew of, that I thought had great teams. And we end up being number 1 right before Christmas, and we go down to Dallas and we lose twice. Now we're number 3. But at the end of the day, my point I'm trying to make is people think a lot of, I guess, what I do.
I was just getting ready to say, okay, no, you finished. Coaching ain't about Marshall. It's about who coaches Marshall. That's what that was about, who coaches Marshall. That's why, if they saw you had 3 coming back, and Coach Courtney is there, we're going to put them numbers too. But
I appreciate the way they think of me and how they think of me as far as what I can do as a coach. I appreciate that from everybody that gives me that that state of where I am. But I also got to understand that I do have some great players on this team.
Yes, you do.
I don't have any McDonald's All-Americans though, but I just have a bunch of guys that have bought into what I believe in, and they play very, very hard for me. And so, people say, well, Coach, you picked to win the Region 3. I don't believe in picking and this, because I got to play the game. So I got to go out here tomorrow and figure out how to beat Barbers Hill, because they're good as well. But at the end of the day, if the Lord above blesses us to win, I think we can win the state championship.
For sure. On that note, I want you to look into the camera and tell your listening audience how much you and your team need them to show up. Where is the game at? And if you guys win, y'all play the winner of who? That's for me, so that I can get on that. That's for me.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be in that state waiting on you to get there.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank my fans and my administration and everybody that's been helping us since I've been there. I've had great administrative support, great fan support. But we're playing Barbers Hill tomorrow night at Clear Lake High School at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Please come out and support us, because we need this one, because Barbers Hill is going to pack the gym. They have a great following, and they're coming. And I need the Buffalo to show up as well.
Look in that.
Family,
hold on, I'm jumping into them. Look into this camera right here and ask your people, because I got a lot of people from TSU went to school with me in Fort Bend, Mo City, gonna be seeing this. Tell the people in Mo City what you want them to do.
I want Mo City to show up in great numbers, because this is a Mo City thing. This is a community thing. I don't do things for myself. I don't do things for the school. I'm doing this for the community. And the kids need you. They want to see you there. I want to see you there. Make as much noise as you can. We're going to give you a show. You're going to get your money's worth, so come on out and enjoy the game on tomorrow night. If we win, I'm sorry. When God blesses us to win tomorrow, we'll play the winners out of Kempner and Friendswood.
Now, who has the highest ranking there, Kempner or Friendswood?
Friendswood.
Friendswood generally has a pretty good team every year.
They do. I watched tape on them already. Plus I played Kempner. But we had our meeting yesterday, and people talking about how big we are and how strong we are. And I just laughed. And believe it or not, we don't lift weights.
Wow.
You know. And I'm starting 6'8", 6'5", 6'5", 6'2", and 5'10".
Man, that's a 6'8" lineup. That's a 6'8" lineup. You got that, man.
And I come off the bench with another 6'6", and another 6'5", and another 6'3".
That's a 6'8".
So we're pretty big. We're pretty athletic. My 6'8" kid has a scholarship to play football at University of Houston. My 6'5" starter has a scholarship to Air Force. And that's
football?
No, it's straight basketball.
Straight basketball.
I only have 4 seniors, and so I have, out of this group of guys, I'll have 9 of these guys back next year.
Coach, I'm telling you, actually a female, when I saw you at that game, suggested, "That's Coach Courtney, man. That'd be a good guy for you." I said, "You know what? You didn't lie at all. That guy's a legend. Let me go over here." I was scared at first, and when I decided to do it, you walked past, a lot of people caught you. So I called Chatter. I remember, excuse me, family, now you don't know, we using these acronyms, whatever, but Chatterbox is the voice of the TSU Tigers basketball, all athletics. And are you guys frat brothers or just friends?
Just great friends.
Just great friends.
Man, you know what? I'm going to tell you what. Chatter and I met each other back when I was at
Coach
Jeff Davis High School.
Oh, Jeff Davis.
Was he broadcasting games at the school? He's at the scores table.
Okay.
He's broadcasting games, calling out the starting line. When I started Jeff Davis, that was in 1981. And Chatter and I have been knowing each other that long, and he's always called to check on me, and we had a great time at TSU together. Oh man, Chatter's been that dude.
Man, I'm telling you, I said, Chatter, man, I got a great idea, because he's been on the show. I said, Chatter, now, don't come on my show and try to steal it, because Chatter come over here and get to talking. Come on over here at the stadium and do this and go. Watch Fat and Sports Talk with Fat. I love Chatter, man. I love it, man. But anyway, Chatter said, I said, "You think you can get him hooked up with Coach Courtney?" He said, "Bro, that's a good idea." And I was like, "Yeah," he said, "I'll hook him up for you." But he didn't call you. Then I went over there. I said, "Hey, man, don't forget to call Coach Courtney." He said, "You right back there." I was like, "What?"
I'm going to say this, Fat Larry. I don't. When people see me and they like, "Man, I want to talk to Coach Courtney," I'm human. I'm a human being. I'm no better than the next person. So I don't have a problem. People approach me to talk to me because I love talking to people. When you start talking to me about basketball, we talk all day.
I'll take all day.
And so, I have a lot of high school coaches that go, "Man, I've been wanting to call you and talk to you." Where to call me, talk to me, because you can teach me something probably before I can teach you something, because I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm always learning something about the game. I don't know it all. I don't profess to know it all. I'm looking for knowledge from other people that can help me get better than what I already am. So I have coaches call me now, "Coach, man, can I come talk to you, man?"
Yeah.
Please do. Can you help me get a job? Please do. I've gotten so many guys jobs because I know so many people.
For sure.
And my staff at Bush High School, when I was there, I had 4 coaches that were actually basketball coaches. All 4 of them have their own program.
Wow.
And that's one of the things I take a lot of pride in, because
yes.
when you're with me and around me and you want to be a high school basketball coach, then let's get this thing started to where you can become one. And one of my guy that has a job now, he like, "Coach, man, I don't know if I should put my resume in." I said, "Let me tell you something." I say, "Put your resume in. It's one or two things gonna happen. They're gonna call you and give you an interview. One of those 2 things.
Right.
And when you go to the interview, the only thing they can tell you is yes or no.
Right.
They can't tell you anything else.
Right.
And so he's like, "You know what, Coach, I'm gonna try that." Tried it first time, got a head job. Yeah. And so with that being said, those 4 guys have done a tremendous job at their prospective schools. I had a guy just call me yesterday, said, "Coach, can you help me get this job? Just get ready to come open." "Sure, tell me where it is. Let me find out if I know the principal or the football coach, and let's go from there." Because, like I said, I've been in Houston all my life, and I've been around basketball, sports all my life. And so as I have progressed through the Rams of Houston, I know people. And so when people are trying to get somewhere, please call me. Because,
and you don't mind helping people.
You know why I don't? Because somebody helped me.
Helped you. Yeah.
If it wasn't for the people that helped me coming along, you and I wouldn't be sitting here talking.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd be doing, I don't know what, but somebody helped me stay the straight and narrow, and also helped me to understand how to get where you're trying to get. And so that straight and narrow, it may not seem fun at the time, but the straight and narrow is going to get you where you want to get.
Coach, you would have been successful in anything you do, and that's just like I had one time I wanted to be a coach as I was at Texas Southern. And the funny thing about it is that I was coming from breakfast or dinner or something one day, and my homeboy saw me. We were talking, and said, "Bro, what you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna be a coach, man." He said, "Man, you gonna start with that."
Let me tell you something.
I thought about it that night, coach, and I talked to guys that were teaching and coaching, and they told me what they made. I went right over to School of Business the next day, coach, and changed my major to School of Business.
Let me tell you something funny about this. When I went to college, my mom and dad, they sit me down and they said, "Well, what do you want to be when you go to college?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know, Mom." My mom said, "I know." I said, "What's that, Mom?" "I want you to be a dentist." I was like, "Okay, I'm going to be a dentist." Man, I got to school, and that advisor set me down, and he got all the books out. He said, "And this is what you had to do to be a dentist." I looked at that man and I said, "Sir, you put all them books up. I'm not doing all that. I'm not. I'm going to do something else. That's not what I want to do." And so, that hurt my mother's heart. But my dad said, "Let him be what he wants to be." Yeah. And at that point in time, I went and talked to my college coach.
But trust me, if you'd have put your heart and soul in it,
yeah, but I didn't want to go to school that long. I don't do all that, man. I knew. But, that's one of the things, because a friend of mine, we were together, he said, "I'm going to be the doctor and you be the dentist." Well, he became the doctor. He was my doctor, matter of fact. And I said, "Dude, I'm not going to make that dentistry stuff. I'm sorry." But, that's one of the funny stories I had about me growing up trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
I know it.
That didn't
Coach,
work for me.
I have had a wonderful blast, and and the reason why I'm only breaking this off is Coach has taken time out of his busy schedule to let us talk to him. You have got to come back after March the 9th.
Yes,
March
sir.
the 9th is the state playoffs. So that following week, I might let him chill for looking at that following week and enjoy himself. But no later than 2 weeks after, we're going to have him back. Coach, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And talking to us, man. It's been wonderful. And one more time, I'm not joking. You listening to all that have not ever heard of him, I know you heard of Robert Hughes in Fort Worth. I know you heard of Coach Jackie Carr here in Houston. I know you heard of Andre Boutte over in the GTA Golden Triangle. Colin Briggs, 5th Ward, Wheatley Wildcat. This guy belongs in that same conversation. So, Coach, we want to thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
All right.
I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Womack Development Company and Realtor, and Morgan & Associates Dental. Hello, family. What a great guest with Coach Courtney of Fort Bend Marshall High School. What a wonderful job, and very interesting and informative on his background, his coaching philosophy, and his stops that he made along the way to get to Marshall High School, where he currently is now. So what we're going to do now is catch up with HBCU sports. Going to cover a little Super Bowl that occurred a couple weeks ago, and we're going to cover the NBA All-Star game. Okay. Starting off with the men's basketball SWAC, let me give you the games from Monday, and we have UAPB let me take that back. Alabama A&M beat UAPB. Alcorn beat FAMU 79-68, and Alabama A&M beat UAPB 75-67. Jackson State beat Bethune-Cookman 61-60, a nail biter. Also, Texas Southern here in Houston, Texas beat Southern University, which is leading the SWAC, 68-56. We were right there for Grambling. We missed Grambling. We could have beat Grambling, but I feel good about it. We could beat Grambling on any day. But Grambling did beat us. Grambling beat Prairie View Monday, 83-74. And Mississippi Valley lost to Alabama State, 61-46. Now, that was the games for Monday. Now, Saturday, what happened was UAPB beat Alabama State. Alabama A&M beat Mississippi Valley. Southern University beat Prairie View. And Grambling beat TSU Saturday. And Alcorn beat Bethune-Cookman. And Jackson State beat FAMU. So the standings right now in men's basketball in the SWAC is, let me get this up for you. And yes, family, I've moved to the laptop. I'm off the paper. I got so many. My daughter told me to come into the 21st century and put my pad down and get on my computer. So this is what I'm doing. Southern is leading the conference at 10-3. Grambling State is tied with Southern at 10-3. Jackson State is 8-5. Texas Southern is 8-5. Alcorn State, after a slow start in the basketball, they're at 8-5. They fought themselves all the way back into second place, tied for second place. Bethune-Cookman is 7-6. Alabama State is 7-6. Alabama A&M is 7-6. University of Arkansas Pine Bluff is 6-7. Prairie View is 5-8. FAMU is 2-11. Florida A&M, and Mississippi Valley is 0-13. Family, I just want to give you my thought on men's basketball. This SWAC tournament is going to be off the hook this year, and that is because you got 3 games separating first place and the 8th place team. In the 7th place team. So it's basically anybody can beat anybody on any given day. As you know, Texas Southern won the men's SWAC tournament last year coming from 8th place. I'm hoping that we don't have to do that this year. But anyway, that's the men's standing. Now let's go to find out what happened in the women's this past week. Give me a chance to get this up. And as I always tell people, if you are anywhere in the vicinity of one of the games going on, HBCU, please go and support the schools. Please go and support it. They need it. They need all the support they can get. Hold on. Let me see. Is this the game or is this February 20? No, this is still not it. Hold on. Sports, we got women's basketball, and now we're going to get the standings on it. On the women's side in the SWAC basketball, you have Jackson State leading at 13-0, having a tremendous season. Grambling State is 10-3. UAPB is 9-4. Southern is 9-4. Alabama A&M is 7-6. FAMU is 6-7. Bethune-Cookman is 5-8. Prairie View is 5-8. Texas Southern, Alcorn is 5-8. Texas Southern is 4-9. So they're in the 8th spot. If the season was the end of the day, they would make the tournament, but still got some games to go. You got Alabama State 3-10, and Mississippi Valley 2-11. Now, I think that Jackson State is the clear-cut favorite to win the women's. But as I was telling you about the men, anybody could win. It's so tight, it's unbelievable. TSU happened to win the SWAC Indoor Track Championship. TSU won the Indoor SWAC Track Championship. Talking about basketball so much, everything is a tournament. So, but anyway, don't forget down below to write what you thought about the show today with Coach Courtney, and also suggest someone. I got a few suggestions from the last show I'm working on to get a guest here. And also we had a few people sign up to be the guest host. So down below, write a note about the show today and email me at fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com if you're interested in being one of the guest hosts. As I told you, I have a contest. Last year we had a guy did a great job that was the guest host. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com to become a guest host and also to purchase your hoodie or your t-shirt. When you email me, let me know your size and color that you want. Okay? Now, we're going to go to the CIAA. CIAA is going to, I'm going to give you the basketball standings, the top 4, since we pressed for time. Here we go. We got, they got about 16 schools in the CIAA. I was not aware of that till last show we did. But anyway, in that North Division, Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, 7-2. Virginia Union, that has a storied basketball history, 6-3. Virginia State is 5-4, and Elizabeth City State is 4-5. Those are the top 4 schools. Now, in the Southern Division, you got Claflin, 8-3. Fayetteville State, 7-4. Winston-Salem State is 5-5. And Winston-Salem played at the NBA All-Star. Shaylin, did you see that game where they had an HBCU game in the midst of the All-Star weekend? I thought that was fantastic. They had Winston-Salem at this particular time. I'm lost to think who they played, but they played Winston-Salem, and I think Winston-Salem was picked because of Stephen A. Stephen A., the announcer for ESPN First Take, that's his alma mater. So you had Shaw, also is 5-6. Those are the top 4 schools in the South Division. Going fast here, what we're going to do is give you the SIAC basketball standings, Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. The schools in that conference are, you're going to be shocked to know who they are. Here we go, and who the leader is. You got Clark Atlanta leading that Eastern Conference of 15-4, having a great year, Clark. Actually, that's their 15-4. Their division record is 12-0. And you got Benedict, 14-5. You have Morehouse, 14-5. And you have Allen, 10-9. These are the top 4 schools in the SIAC men's basketball in the East. Now, in the West, you got Miles College out of Tennessee, 14-4. Tuskegee, 11-7. And Tuskegee and Miles are neck and neck. Well, actually, at this particular moment, Tuskegee is leading 9-1 in the conference. Spring Hill, and you got Lane. So those are the top 4 schools in the West in the SIAC. One more conference we're going to cover is the MEAC. MEAC has, that's where Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman came from to join the SWAC. They were in the MEAC for years. Okay, in the MEAC, we have Norfolk State leading the conference, have a good team every year, 7-2. North Carolina Central, 5-4. Delaware State is 5-4. And Howard is 5-4. Now I'm going to go ahead and give 2 more schools since they're 5-4 too. So all these schools are in the mix to make the playoffs for them. You got South Carolina State in 5th place, 5-4. You got Morgan State, 5-4. So there are 6 schools that are in the mix for the playoffs in the MEAC. So that's covering the HBCU conferences and their standing. And I want to throw a shout out also to Langston University. They are NAIA leading that particular division of basketball, trying to become number 1. I think they are 27-1. What a great job Langston University is doing. So I want to send my flowers to Langston. Also, Super Bowl. What did you guys think about the Super Bowl? I think that San Francisco had opportunities, but they let KC hang around, and you can't do that with Patrick Mahomes. You can't do that with Patrick Mahomes. He don't need but like a minute to go down 100 yards down the field and break your heart. But anyway, Kansas City beat San Francisco for the Super Bowl. My homeboys back home, I got a few of them that diehard 49ers, and quite naturally being Central Texas, they Cowboy fans, they can't wait to get on him because he chewed them out mercifully for not making the Super Bowl again. So the 49ers lost to the Chiefs, and then you have the NBA All-Star game. Down below, write your opinion on what you think about the NBA All-Star game. I don't like it because the players aren't putting anything forth, and they're getting paid. You know, they already get their large contracts, but they get paid to participate in that All-Star game. What's talking about getting hurt? You can get hurt lollygagging around. Actually, when I was playing sports, we used to say that. The people that get hurt are the ones that's messing around. If you're not practicing properly, you're going to twist an ankle, strain a knee, elbow or something. So they have to do something about this NBA All-Star game. That's my opinion. Down below, write what your opinion is about the NBA All-Star game, because it's not worth watching anymore. The three-point contest is probably about the best thing left in there now, the three-point shooting contest. This young lady was hanging right in there with Steph, but, you know, greatness, the GOAT, always shines out last. And so Steph beat her. And so I want to talk about the University of Houston. Yes, I'm a UH fan also. Have been, will continue to be. Definitely long as Coach Sampson is coaching them. What two great games they played back to back. They beat University of Texas and they beat Iowa State, which I had them beating them anyway. U of H is for real. Not saying they're not going to. They're going to win every game from here out, but they're going to have to be dealt with in the tournament and in the NCAA playoffs. So U of H, the Houston Astros have started spring training. You know, I'm a baseball guy, along with TSU. TSU played in the recent Cactus Jack baseball tournament that the Astros put on for HBCUs. And I want to send some flowers out and a clap out to Astros for inviting the 6 schools to play in that Cactus Jack tournament, the HBCU schools. Jackson State, TSU, Southern University, Prairie View, they had a round robin, and Prairie View won it. They won all 3 of their games, and TSU was 2-1. So we want to thank the Houston Astros for including them in and getting the opportunity. Me and my other guys that played with me, we just could only dream about playing in a major league stadium, which is what these kids had the opportunity to do. So family, we want to thank you again for tuning in. Make sure you pass the word to your family and friends about the show. Share the video with your friends, and so you can help us to continue to grow. I want to thank everyone for checking in one more time. I cannot thank you enough. Peace out until the next time.